Hey, Amy Posner here. In my last video on niching for copywriters, I want to talk to you about the niche of course creators. The course creator's bottom line is based on copy. They rely on copy to fill seats, to sell programs, and there are so many courses being created in every imaginable space. The cool thing here is you can niche in courses and then probably in some topic that you're interested in, helping people doing something that you care about, selling their brilliance to the world. So that's kind of an interesting little sub-niche in the niche potentially. Course launches require a lot of copy. So there are sales pages, landing pages, webinar scripts, slide decks, video scripts, email series, thank you pages, upsells, downsells. So they vary in length and complexity, but the need for copy is practically unlimited. And evergreen courses have less urgency, but there's still a need for copy, and there's even a need for ongoing copy for evergreen courses. So here's what to expect. Course projects tend to be really busy. They're fast-paced. They have a lot of moving parts. So this is great for people who like complexity and are good at project management and organization. Although if you're not, fear not, because that's not my strong suit, but I've done a lot of these. You just have to be very systematic and create a process. Otherwise, you lose the pieces and lose your mind. So it can be very busy and very fast-paced because courses are getting launched. And sometimes people who haven't launched before or don't launch frequently can be in over their heads. I mean, they just don't know what's involved, and they can have a lot of last-minute needs. Because if you've ever been involved with a launch, they can be really chaotic with lots of things popping up at the last minute. Even clients who've done it a lot will often find themselves in a crunch at deadline. It almost always happens. Even in a really simple launch, there's always one or two things. So, calm and launch are oxymorons. I mean, it's just, if you like that high energy and the fast pace, which I do in some ways, less than I used to, but I do really enjoy that. And I enjoy it way more than things are really slow, like corporate stratification. This is kind of the opposite of that. But anyway, what you find is that people often don't plan ahead, or they don't plan at all. They don't have a solid launch plan. They don't have a launch manager. So if you come in, be careful about that, because you don't necessarily want to take on that role. At least you don't want to take on that role unpaid. And often as the copywriter, you are envisioning the strategy and what they should do and what the funnel is going to look like. Be sure that you build in the strategy and the consulting for that. That becomes a paid part of the project. Otherwise, I don't know how you can help but resent it, because it's a lot of work and it will fall to you. So the other little red flag, I said new course creators who haven't launched, they don't have a solid launch plan, they don't have a launch manager, people who have outsized expectations based on their list size and their advertising budget or market. People come to you and say, well, I have a list of 1,000 people and I need to sell 200 courses. And it's like, okay, well, what other methods are you going to use? And what's your timeline? Because of course, cold marketing can take longer, but also that's 20%. That's selling 20%. It's really, really highly unlikely that that's going to happen. So you need to adjust their expectations downward. And if they feel like you're, just raining on their parade, that's fine. Let them get somebody else. I mean, the last thing you want is them selling 2% and you thinking it's a really, really great start, and them thinking it's, total crap. So expectations getting aligned. And of course, this goes with any client and any project. But, what often happens with course creators is they're multiplying numbers. They've got a price point, and then they think of how many they'd like to sell, and suddenly in their mind, that's the number that they need to achieve. And they stop thinking about the realistic metrics, well, how big is your audience? Have they bought from you before? At what price point? All these other things that need to be considered. The other thing to just be aware of is there are always last minute things. I've said that a couple times. You probably can't say it enough. But new course creators may not have anticipated that, and it can be high stress getting their projects over the finish line on time. If you're project managing or you're running that's probably going to fall on you. And I don't know how many people I know, myself included, that launch something and you go, I'm never doing that again. But luckily you forget. You forget how painful it was, and you start seeing the numbers and multiplying them out, and you do it again. But I think this is a really fascinating space. I've done work here. I'm fascinated by people digitizing their intellectual property and sharing what they know and sort of helping them get that out into the world, because it's one of those places where it's very hard for them to have perspective or be objective. And so, it can be a great role for the copywriters. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions about writing copy for course creators, pop them below. I'm happy to answer. I also have a PDF that has the details, the work, what to expect in the work, what to avoid, and what I like about it for the 4 different niches I've covered in my videos. And there is a link to that in the show notes as well, if you would like to get that. Thanks for watching. If you would like to be notified when new videos are out, hit the bell and we'll let you know. Thanks. Bye for now.